degrees in Boston. Chance of some snow flurries, just a clipper-like system coming into New York on Saturday. Philadelphia, rain or snow Saturday, and then it clears out and starts warming up again first part of next week. Washington, D.C., not a bad forecast, just dodge a few showers on Saturday. Well, stay tuned. We'll check in on our storm in the Northeast again coming up.
Hey, you want a green light to eat like never before? I do. Now Healthy Choice has a new menu of unbelievably delicious dishes, indulgent new meals. There's grilled chicken Sonoma, big stuffed pocket sandwiches. My favorite is grilled glazed pork with a tangy apple barbecue glaze. We're talking recipes like you have never had before. All around 5 grams of fat. 5. There's no stopping me now. The new menu from Healthy Choice, your green light to eat what you like.
Ahead on WeatherScope, winter weather continues to take hold in the Northeast. How much longer will it last? Updates coming up on WeatherScope after your local forecast.
This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on, only on the Weather Channel. WeatherScope.
Strong winds are buffeting the Northeast, resulting in travel problems across the region. Hello, I'm Jill Brown. In addition, parts of New England are getting heavy snow. For the full details, let's join Rick Griffin in our forecast center.
Thanks a lot, Jill. We certainly have had a windy early March storm in the Northeast today. That storm has brought along rain. Most of that has ended. Blinding snowfall. Some is still occurring. And of course, very high winds have been a major weather story with this storm system so far. In fact, a tragedy due to the high winds in the New York City area earlier today. This morning in New York City, 4 children were killed when high winds knocked over a 60-foot tree onto a van in which they were riding. And those winds are still causing problems in New York City and eastern New York State. Let's go to the Big Apple. These scenes in downtown New York give you an indication of a little bit about how the day has been. It's been a blustery March day. Winds have been gusting over 50 miles per hour from time to time. Debris has been blowing about. It's been difficult just to walk around as the winds are swirling around the big buildings downtown. Winds could still hit 50 to 60 miles an hour periodically this afternoon. Here's the weather map just to give you an indication of how powerful this developing storm is. Right along the coast, there are storm warnings in effect from Watch Hill, Rhode Island to about Eastport, Maine. For you mariners, northwest winds increasing to 65 knots. Gusts to 80 knots are expected over the open waters. That's a little over 90 miles an hour. Seas will be building to 20 feet. Obviously not a great day to stray too far from port. Now over land, Reports of wind damage have been fairly common. The Mohawk and Hudson Valley region around Lake George earlier today. In the Catskills, Ulster County, for instance. Street signs were twisted about by the wind in Albany, New York, and a crane toppled over at the Schenectady County Airport onto a hangar as winds gusted to 56 miles per hour earlier today. We had wind gusts of 70 miles an hour plus in Martha's Vineyard, also in Seaside, New Jersey. Now, the winds are still strong. Numerous trees and power lines are still likely to come down in some areas. Some will block roads. Still could be power problems. There have been reports of power outages in Ulster County, I mentioned that, and also numerous power outages out over Long Island, as Mark Mancuso reported to us earlier. Strong wind gusts now, just in recent wind gusts, 63, Nantucket Island, 51, Boston, Providence, you had a gust of 50, 55-mile-an-hour wind gust in Newburgh, New York, and a little over 50 in Newark. Still windy in Baltimore. 55-mile-an-hour wind gusts for you folks. And again, it will be a blustery afternoon with the winds diminishing tonight. Here's your satellite picture. Again, the storm center is just off the Maine coast, just south and east of Penobscot Bay, let's say. Rockport, Maine, moving northeast, should pass the Bay of Fundy into the Canadian Maritimes sometime late this afternoon and this evening. Snowfall, I mentioned that. Heavy snows continue in Maine, particularly from Bangor up to Millinocket to Van Buren, Caribou, and Holton. And in that area, also in northern New Hampshire, a blizzard warning is in effect for blinding, driving, heavy snow, 10 to 18 inches of accumulation, whiteout conditions from time to time. Therefore, if you have travel plans, think twice about doing that. 4 to 6 foot snow drifts are anticipated. 22 now, heavy snow in Caribou, Bangor, 30, heavy snowfall. In Boston, you haven't had much precipitation lately, but it is windy, 36 degrees, 46 in New York City, and with the winds gusting 40 to 50 miles an hour, the wind chill in the Big Apple down to 22 degrees at last report. Wind chill is 0 right now in Burlington, Vermont. Just to update you briefly on the situation in Pike County, Kentucky. As of 2:10, the mudslide situation, the mouth of the Bad Fork and Rock Castle Creek remains the same. A massive mudslide 40 feet high, 150 feet wide, 300 feet long, remains at the mouth of those two creeks, and a pool of water 30 feet deep behind that. Apparently the National Guard, Pike County Road Crew, and Corps of Engineers have had some success in draining the water. We will keep you up to date on that scenario as the day unfolds. Now back to the studio with more on the nation's weather. Here's Jill Brown.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Let's check out the other stories across the country today. Most of the western half of the U.S. is calm. However,